Welcome back, FPL fam. Gameweek 31 Plus is officially over, and for the first time in my 29-year life, Liverpool has been crowned champion. So congrats to them. Congrats to all the supporters out there. There's a lot to talk about going into Gameweek 32, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So here's how my team did at Gameweek 31 Plus. Another great week again. I had 89 points. I was coming off of 107, I believe, the week before. So my two best weeks I've ever had happened at the restart of FPL. I couldn't be happier for this restart, honestly. But here's how my team did. Pope with another phenomenal performance with 10 points. Alexander-Arnold a goal and a clean sheet. I ended up giving Son the armband last minute. When he scored that goal, I was so elated. I was already in the streets running around screaming. And I come back and realize his foot was offsides. I feel like I took a shot to the rib. And then at the end of the game, when he got the bonus points taken away, I feel like I got another shot to the other rib. So it was a bit of a roller coaster ride for Son, but at the end of the day, I was glad he got that assist with assist to Kane at the end of the game, and I was able to get something from it. But anyway, with 89 points, I'm incredibly happy with the performance I had this week, and let's go ahead and jump into my Game Week 32 Plus team. All right, so for the back line, I'm sticking with Pope again. I just think he's been so good all year. He's averaging like 4 points a game. For the next few games he has Crystal Palace, he has West Ham, and he has Sheffield United. I think I don't know if he'll get double digits every time. I mean, one can hope, right? But I think he's still going to be solid going forward. And for the money I paid for him, you can't find a better option in goal than that. Going to defense, I have Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is the best right back in the world. And he had an absolute world class of a free kick. I think it was the best free kick I've ever seen from a right back. Roberto Carlos was obviously left back, but phenomenal shot. He's going nowhere, and with him I've been scared to captain him the whole year because he's a defender, but really he has the same amount of points all year as Mane. I'm talking the third highest FPL asset in the game, and he's averaging like 6 points a game. And if next year when he comes out and he's 10 million, he would still be worth it in my opinion to have. He's in for clean sheets, he's in for assists, bonus points, goals. He literally does it all. He's only 22 years old. I think he is phenomenal. For my other defender, I'm going with Doherty. I think he has been solid for these last 7 games without a question. His last 7 games, his lowest total has been 6 points. And that's since Bali has returned, so it's not just a fluke. Since Bali returned, they've had 6 out of the last 7 clean sheets. The Wolves have been so solid as a unit for the last 2 years, but lately they've just been kicked into overdrive. They really want to get into Champions League, and right now they might do so as they're tied with Man U for that last final spot, since Man City is probably going to get the boot. And for the next few games, the Wolves are playing Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Sheffield. And Sheffield look poor, but we'll worry about that later. For this week, it's Aston Villa. He'd almost be a sneaky captaincy pick. I mean, he's been performing so well lately. He has 3 assists and a goal in his last 5 games. I think that he'd be a sneaky play if you want to look for a little bit of a punt on the captain. So for my only transfer this week, I brought in Serge Aurier for the Lord. Now, I think that Serge Aurier has been great all year, but with Mourinho coming in, especially with the restart, he has looked phenomenal. He was pressing so high up the field, consistently whipping in crosses to now returning Harry Kane and Son. I think he had about 6 crosses last game, if I'm not mistaken. He's so far advanced in his attacking role. Good chance to get attacking returns. But on a Mourinho-oriented squad, the defense is so strong, I think he's in a great position to get some clean sheets as well. And Aurier sneakily has 7 assists this year. He's attempting 1.5 attempted assists over his last 4 games. And I know the concern is, well, he's going to get a red card, he's going to get an own goal. But in reality, he has the same amount of yellows as he has reds, as the same amount as own goals. 1 of each. So he hasn't really been that Serge Aurier-like this year. And with Sheffield United coming up next, Sheffield have 3 shots on target combined since the restart. And a reminder, they have had 3 games so far. And they've had 0 goals in all of them. So going against this Spurs defense, I think Aurier is in for a high performance. Knock on wood. And so for my midfield, I'm going to stay the same. Kevin De Bruyne is going to be the first option always. He is the best midfielder in the world. And I want to know what you guys think. Who had the better free kick? Trent Alexander-Arnold or Kevin De Bruyne? I couldn't believe, oh man. Still going crazy from that shot. Phenomenal. Anyway, Kevin De Bruyne, I don't know how much needs to be said. He's at 3.5 attempted assists over his last 7. He's officially on penalties now that Sergio Aguero is off. So he's been a great player before, and he gets a chance to take more penalties. I think he has a lock in. He has a bit of a rough game with Liverpool this week. I know Liverpool just won, but it's still going to be a tough game. I think they're both going to go all out, kind of a pride thing. And I don't know if I would captain him this week, but for the next few weeks going forward, definitely a captaincy option. I'm also sticking with Son. Now this was a bit tricky because I talked about earlier not wanting to go with two Tottenham assets just because they could be a bit of Jekyll and Hyde. But I kept it, and I'm sticking with Son. I think he's been phenomenal. He got robbed of 2 bonus points after the game. He was this close to getting a goal too. It was a beautiful play. Great cut back to his right foot. And I think Son's just been solid all year. I think he is electric, and I think that with Aurier whipping in crosses, with Kane coming back and getting his legs back, I think Son's going to be a great player. I think he's the best player on the Spurs, and I honestly think he's the most underrated player in the Prem. Phenomenal player, and I don't know if he's going to go anywhere on my team yet. So for my third midfielder, I'm going with the legendary Bruno Fernandez. He's already a legend. 5 out of his 7 games he's had in the Prem, he's had a return. He's on penalties. He's averaging 3.5 shots per game, 2 attempted assists per game. He is everywhere on the pitch for Manchester United. And I kind of want to go triple up on Man U, but for now I'm just sticking with the 2. I'll get to that a bit later. But Bruno is so solid, and with Pogba returning, it even lets him be more creative and more assertive on the offense. Pogba drops back on the defense, kind of allowing him to facilitate from the back, which allows Bruno to stay high and go do whatever he wants attacking-wise. And when they're both up in that half-court offense, if you will, the basketball term, they both work so well with each other, passing back and forth, making beautiful runs. They're just so creative and so fun to watch. Bruno is a main staple in anyone's squad at this point. So for my last midfielder spot, I'm going with the legendary Mo Salah. Now I'm a bit concerned now that they've wrapped up league and they're out of the Champions League. What do they do? Are they going to continue to start their players? But Mo Salah has been so good for the last 2-3 years that he is not going to go anywhere. I'm willing to take that risk in having him in my squad because when he plays, like you saw last week, he had 11 points. He has just been so good for quite some time now and so electric. And if he starts, he's a must play. And he has Man City this week. And like I said with De Bruyne, I think that they're going to be all in, kind of a pride game. But after that, it's Aston Villa. And if he starts that game, he is a must captain. And of course, it's going to be whether he plays or not. So I'm going to keep my eye on Salah. But right now, I think he's worth the risk. So for my forwards, I'm going with Marcus Rashford first. He is going to be my captain this week. And he's playing a Brighton defense that I honestly think that we underrate them defensively. I think they're better defensively than we want to give them credit for. But I still like Rashford as my captain. Manchester just looks so good since Bruno got there, let alone with Pogba attacking-wise. Martial with the hat-trick last week. And I think the beneficiary going forward is going to be Rashford. And the biggest concern with Rashford is he has been a bit shaky in front of goal. He's had that left-footed shot 2 weeks ago, and he had that just a whiff of an opportunity last week. And I know it kind of got under his feet, and it was tough. But he's making the great runs. He's always in the perfect place. Bruno, Pogba, Martial, they're consistently looking for him. He's like Kobe, looking for him to find the ball, passing it to him at all costs. I think that Rashford's going to be a guy that's going to bag 6 goals by the end of the season. And for this week, he's my captain. So for my other spot, I'm going with the legendary Danny Ings. He's playing Watford. I think that this is his chance to get a couple goals. But with Ings, I'm a little concerned because his schedule gets tougher from here on out. He has United and City coming up in these next couple weeks. But also, Ings has scored against Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, the Wolves. Did I say Chelsea already? He scored against Liverpool. He scored against most of the top tier teams. So I'm not really scared about who he plays. But I am nervous about Southampton, who they play. And so I'm keeping Danny Ings now. Don't expect too much from him for the next few weeks. After that, he has Bournemouth at the end of the season. But I paid $6 million for him. It's going to be hard for me to find anyone better at his price range. And for me, he's staying for now. But just like Salah, I'm keeping an eye on him. So for my last 4, I'm going with Jimenez. Jimenez has been so good all year, especially these last 10 weeks. With Traore on the pitch, they've combined for 10 goals between the two of them. And like I said with Doherty, they're looking to get into Champions League. They're hungry and they want it bad. And Jimenez has just been so clinical in front of goal. He's been a solid asset all year. And personally, I want to captain him, but from what I've seen in my first year in FPL, that Saturday morning game is almost a scary game for any attackers. It's usually, from what I've seen, 0-0, 1-0. And because of that, I'm kind of scared to captain him. But he's going against the worst defense in the league. Aston Villa look like they've quit. They're done. They're ready to go out of the Prem. And I'm still considering going back to Jimenez for my captaincy armband. But for right now, I'm sticking it with Rashford. But Jimenez, a must buy and probably the second best forward in the game. And just to wrap up my bench, I'm sticking with James Justin. He's going to be my number one. This week he had a bit of a scare. He got bailed out by Schmeichel. With honestly, it was a terrible pen. But Schmeichel was still there. He still made the save. And James Justin got bailed out. And even with that yellow card and that giving up a pen, James Justin was still like 4th or 5th in the bonus points. So I think that he is still a really good asset. And I kind of want to play him, but I'm not going to against Everton. I think Everton have been struggling, but this might be the game that they kind of click. But I got James Justin there. Hayden, I know he's hurt, but I'm not really worried about my second and third bench option. I'm just concerned with James Justin right now. There you have it. There's my team. I hope that we all have a great game week 32 plus. Let me know if you have any comments. If you want to know if you should bench, boost, wild card, triple captain. If you have any of those chips still at this point, let me know. Thank you for all the support, for all the love. It's been great since I started this channel. Like and subscribe. Don out.